Good evening. We are going to call the March 6th meeting of the Amery City Council to order. Fran, do you want to do the roll call?
Sure. Myers.
Here.
Erickson.
Here.
Rogers.
Here.
Karushak.
I'm here.
Strobush.
Here.
And Davis.
Here.
Okay. I'm going to ask Bob Labath, the commander of the VFW post, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Bob. Okay, in your packet, you should have the meeting minutes from our meeting in February. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
So move.
Dave Myers, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any corrections or additions? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
The minutes are approved. Okay, under upcoming events, I'm going to ask Bob to come up again. He has a presentation for the city. I'm going to ask Darcy to come over with me as well.
While I'm here tonight, I'd like to present the City of Amery with a POW MIA flag. Back in 1990, the 101st Congress recognized this flag as a flag for the families of missing persons overseas in Southeast Asia. Today, we still recognize it as the flag that represents all missing, unaccounted veterans in the world. So I feel it's important that we fly this flag, as we still have 73,000 veterans in World War II that are still missing. There's about 7,500 in Korea that's still missing, 1,650 from Vietnam missing, and several others from other conflicts in that. So I would like to ask that I have 3 flags here that I've purchased, that the City of Amery put one on their flagpole. I'd also like to give one to the fire chief and to the police chief to fly at their centers. With that,
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thank you. There's one other thing I'd like to bring up, if we could
Sure.
just take a minute.
Okay.
I'd like to see how we could better the lowering of flags when we have a veteran that is killed in action or a dignitary. I know I've sent emails before and it's hard to do, but I'd like to see if we can consider down the road some way that improve this method, so we do it at the City Hall and all public buildings. If you would consider that, I'd appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Okay?
We do our best to try to get.
I know it. It's hard to do.
departments.
And actually, you know, sometimes we don't get the notices until it's over, so. But if you would just see if we could come up with a better method, I'd appreciate it.
While you're up there, Bob, I have one other question for you. I know
Yes.
that you have a gun show that you're
Yes, we do.
sponsoring, and could you want to bring that up? and
Well,
talk
we
about
have a
it?
gun show on April 12th, 13th, and 14th. We're going to hold it at the Ice Arena again. We're expecting a bigger and better event than ever. Somewhere close to 200 tables will be rented, a neighborhood of 100 and some vendors. We're anticipating at this time of over 1,000 people going through the door.
Great.
So we'll have a table there for Amery, and hopefully it's a great success again. So
Well, thank you again.
thank
very
you
much
for your
being
time.
here. Judy Johnson from Centennial Hall is also here.
Okay, hi, everyone. As second vice president of the Amery Centennial Hall Board of Directors, I would like to acknowledge to everyone that a certificate of appreciation was previously presented to Mayor Mike Karushak and the city of Amery by Amery Centennial Hall to thank them for all that they do for us. On behalf of the Board of Directors and our staff and all our wonderful members, we are very grateful for everything that you do, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you.
We also want to remind everyone that we have several support groups that meet at Amery Centennial Hall. One of the support groups are Overeaters Anonymous. They meet every Monday evening at 6 p.m., and this is free of charge, and open to all the public. We have one other support group that I would like to mention. It's the group of the Suicide Survivors Support Group, which meets every third Monday each month at 6:30 p.m. And if you have any questions on that, you can call Gloria Stokes at 715-268-9275. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak.
You're welcome, Judy. Is anyone else here for any upcoming events? James, are you going to talk about the movie that's coming up in your report? Isn't there a movie on the 23rd at the library?
I believe so. I can't think of what the title is.
I think it's The Unicorn, isn't it?
The Last Unicorn.
The Last Unicorn. You- I put you on the spot. Anyone else? The only other upcoming event that I can think of is Easter on
Home
March 31st. Home show?
Yeah,
When is the home show coming?
Amery Free Press Home Show.
First weekend in April.
Yep.
Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday.
I think it's the 4th, 5th, and 6th.
Yes.
Yep,
Okay. Is that before or after our next city council meeting?
right before.
Okay, so you'll have more to share at that time?
Sure.
Okay. Okay, we'll go to officers' reports, and looking at the minutes from last month, we're going to have Bones speak first. Well, according to this, you were number 2.
Was that number 2?
No?
But that's
You're always
okay.
number one.
Thank you. Everybody says
Number
I'm
one.
number one. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. I was looking at minutes from last month, and I pretty much have the same stuff to say, the same spiel. As you know, we just got done with a big snowfall. I've had a few complaints again on sidewalks that aren't cleaned. Some of them are businesses that are no longer with us, so I think Dwayne finally got through. It was a pretty good buildup down there. There's also some odds and ends that were left in front of the A&W that we'll probably pick up. Garbage can that the stuff is flowing over, and so we'll probably pick that up. And if somebody's out there that knows who is in charge of the A&W anymore, we'll probably have that up. Just bring it out to the shop. Also, I want to remind everybody that the first part of the month we start our flushing for the season. So if you notice a little discoloration or anything in your water, just run it for a while, because when we do our annual, or actually it's biannual flushing, it stirs up a lot of stuff in the pipes, and we generally get a few phone calls at City Hall. I know we have a meeting before dump day, or the dump opens up officially May 1st. But if you need to get in there ahead of time, give us a call. We'll get you in there for brushing leaves or any stuff like that that you want to get rid of, because I know that very soon people will start cleaning up their yards.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be gone in a week. It's going to be 40.
He's up to
Other than that, maintenance as usual at the city shop. We just got the air brakes and stuff fixed on one of the older trucks, and seems like there's always something going on as far as maintenance and repair on the equipment. The furnaces at Centennial Hall and the city shop were worked over pretty good. So hopefully they're in good repair for quite some time. Other than that, we're getting ready for spring. Been talking to Darcy a little bit about the bathroom project that's going to be going on at the dam building, and a few other things in conjunction with that. Getting ready for summer. Other than that, nothing
Any
much
questions
else.
for Bones? I know that, that you get complaints about snow removal, but as I was driving from the medical center to City Hall today, I was just amazed at how clear the streets are now. Part of that is the time of the year, but a big part of it is your crew getting out there and getting the snow out of the way so the sun can do its work.
Yep,
But
they were out
It was
there.
amazing yesterday with the amount of snow that we got to look at the streets today and see how clear they are. So thank you and your staff for that.
I'll pass that along to them. They were out there early, and they were out there for a long time,
Yeah.
because it seemed like it was endless. And as you mentioned that, apparently this was a very good snow plowing, because I think I've had about 5 or 6 different compliments from different people.
Good.
And I
That's
do
good.
appreciate that. There are a few complaints out there, but we'll work out that. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Bones. Our fire chief, Darrell Christensen.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council, community. I've presented the council members and the media with the Amery Fire Department February 2013 incident report. There's 24 total responses involving the fire department and first responders, 8 of those being fire, and the rest being medical. They were split out, most of them being in the city of Amery, but again, amongst the other municipalities, Alden, Lincoln, Blackbrook. We had one mutual aid call with Deer Park. Not much to report as well. Like Bones said, just kind of a reminder, now that we got that big snowfall again, people had done a good job since the last meeting of shoveling out their hydrants. I drove by and I saw several hydrants that were shoveled out, had easy access for the department to pull up and hook up to. And now with the amount of snow we got yesterday, most of them are buried again. So again, if you've got a hydrant in your yard or in the vicinity of your house and it looks like it's covered and inaccessible, if you would again, please get the shovel out and make it accessible for the department. But the only thing we got coming up, like the mayor mentioned, Easter. The community club will have their annual Easter egg hunt, I'm assuming over here at Sioux Line again.
Might be very difficult with the snow, but
Correct.
hopefully it'll be gone by then.
And the fire department, the last several years, has had a pancake breakfast in conjunction with that. We will be doing it again this year on Saturday, the 30th. Pancakes, eggs, sausage, coffee, milk, and juice. Starts at 7, will go till 11. Adults are 5, kids 3 to 10 are 3, and under 3 are free. So come over and have pancakes, and then go over to the Easter egg hunt, or go to the Easter egg hunt and then come over and have pancakes. But we appreciate the support.
What time is the Easter egg?
That's the community club, right?
It's on the website. Before you go, will you give an update on the new fire truck?
The new fire truck chassis is in at Custom Fire. They're hoping to start it. In fact, I just got a phone call from them today. They're hoping to get started on that here within the next week or so in March. So we'll be keeping you posted on the progress. Hopefully, I can bring in pictures and display those on the camera with how it's coming along. It's ready to be built.
We could post those on the Facebook page if you
Yes.
have pictures, that'd be great.
How long does it take once they start the work?
About 6 months. But this is it's being built as a demo model, and I think they're probably going to push this ahead in priority because they want to be able to take it to trade shows, which usually happen early summer. So they're going to want to get it done to be able to do that before we take ownership. So
Okay, great. Any questions for Darrell? Thank you, Chief.
thank you.
Tom Marson, Police Chief.
It's nice that Bone starts bringing up spring and summer here, so I'm just wondering. Amery Fall Festival, September 12th through the 15th. I presented to the council and the media the activity reports for the month of February. Certainly, if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Just a couple things tonight. We got an anonymous call here this week about campaign signs being in the right-of-way. So if there are campaign signs out there, if you could move them out of the right-of-way, that would be good. No doubt winter is still here, and just be sure that to clean your windows and car off so visibility is through all the windows there. And nobody's mentioned that Sunday we spring forward again in the daylight savings time, and that's about all I have.
Any questions for Chief Marson? Thanks, Tom.
Oh, the school drill, yeah. This week, Our police department has been working for the past few months with the school on, that was prior to even the event out in Connecticut there, with the safety plan, lockdown drills and things like that. And we've been part of one at the elementary school this year already, and we've just completed one at the high school this week with the fire department there as well there. There's one planned for the Amery Middle School. I've been working with Tom Benson on that, and there'll be a couple more at the high school, and then in the summertime, our local police department and some of the adjoining ones will be doing some drills on the law enforcement aspect of it as well there, so,
Great.
thank you.
Thanks, Chief. Library Director, James Nayland.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council. Just clarification about the Saturday morning movies. I did get that title wrong. March 9th at 10:30, we have Spirited Away, and on March 23rd, again at 10:30, we have The Borrowers. We apparently already showed The Last Unicorn.
Really?
Unbeknownst.
My calendar must have been wrong.
Or mine is. I'm not sure, but I think those are what we have coming up. We did have a great Dr. Seuss birthday party this past Saturday. We had about 150 people attend that. So we had just a ton of kids in the library and families, and it was a great program. Next week is spring break in the Amery School District, and we have a bunch of different programs going on. We have a program for teens on Monday, the 11th, from 1 to 4:30. It's a discussion of the Hunger Games, both the books and the video film. Tuesday, the 12th, from 1 to 3, we have I Can't Believe My Eyes science projects, which is good for kids kindergarten through 6th grade. They're doing some sort of science project. I haven't been told what, but I think it will be safe in the library. On the 13th, which is a Wednesday at 10:30, our normal story time becomes a monster party where kids can dress up as their favorite monster, and they're going to do monster games and crafts and things like that. The 14th, a Thursday, from 1 to 6, we're going to have a bunch of old school board games for people to play as a family, group of friends, available at the library. And on Friday at 1 o'clock, we're having a teen book, movie, and music ideas swap. That's just for teens, 13 and over. And lastly, just an update on tax forms. We finally got our Form 1040 instructions this past Friday. So we have 2 boxes of those, and if you haven't got yours and have been calling us every day, now's your chance to get it. We've had a lot of calls about this particular set of instructions, and it's now here. So that's all I have.
Will you be, in the board game, will they have Amory-opoly? Will we be playing that?
I sold them all.
Oh,
I think I may have one left. We'll bring that up.
just curious.
So, yeah, we could bring that up.
Any questions for James? Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
City Administrator Darcy Long.
Well, I have a couple things. A lot of them we're going to deal with here in the council agenda, but I wanted to thank all those people, and some of them are from around the world, that have liked the city's Facebook page. We have 94 people. I'd be excited to see over 100. I'm not saying we have a competition with the library, but they did mention that one time the library had more people like the library than the city's page. So it's, I guess if it's a friendly competition, then we'll go along with that. I want to thank everybody who's participated in the Amery logo survey that the Website and Tourism Committee is working on. Officially, those had to be in by March 4th. We have gotten a extremely good response online, as well as the paper forms. I just got a bunch from Tom from the Free Press that were dropped off there. And we have a very large stack, I'm serious, a large stack of those that were turned in. And thank you for your comments. They'll be very helpful. We're going to be going through the data, and that'll help us in our process to go forward in developing a new logo, as well as some of the other things that are in the survey will help with other things that maybe the city's working on. So there's some great comments in there. Thank you. The city staff had a meeting, some of the city staff that are involved in the radio read meter change-out project with the vendor as well as with the company that's going to be installing them. And kind of came up with a tentative project schedule. We'll probably be talking about this at the April meeting because probably in April is when we'll begin some of the work. And we will be sending out letters to the public notifying you of the need to have, to call a number that they will have like a call-in center. It's still being worked out, and why we're doing the project so that you can get scheduled on a list. Now, one thing that was recommended, and we're still working on this, but we will be doing, as part of the project, we will be doing a giveaway. So when you get the survey, the letter explaining what the city's doing, there will be some incentive for you to want to be one of the first people to sign up, because you'll be in a drawing. And now, we don't know what the drawing is going to be yet, but we want to encourage people to sign up earlier than later. We don't really want to have to chase people around and call them and knock on their doors. Or if it gets to the end, we may be, you may find it hard to turn the faucet on, because if it gets to the end and we have to get in, we may have to be forced to do that. That's one of the things at the end of the process we may do, and we'll say that in the letter. But to encourage people to do that, there will be some drawings for a couple weeks. If you call in and get signed up and scheduled by a certain date, you can get in one drawing, and they'll be better at the beginning than at the end. And I'm not going to tell you what they are because we haven't decided what we're going to do. So it's to incentivize people to call in. Unfortunately, council members will already, and staff that live in the city will already have their meter installed, so they won't be able to enter the drawing, sorry. Just want to bring that up. I want to bring the attention to the folks here and the council members to the 1965 aerial map. You're probably going, well, why is that on the wall? Well, in cleaning out going through the vault, looking for some information on another project the city's working on a City Hall analysis, that was found rolled up in the back. And when I picked it up, I thought at first it was just a map, but it's actually an aerial photo, a real photograph. So I thought we ought to preserve that. It's kind of a neat photo. It kind of shows where Amery was in 1965. If you look at that, you're going to see that it's very different. There is no Amery South Mall there or anything, or Alco, or it's all kind of just farmland and whatnot. So we wanted to preserve that, and so we got that framed to try to protect that and keep a piece of history. So kind of a neat thing for people to look at. So we decided that would be a good thing to put in the council chambers and have hanging up at City Hall. Better than having it in the vault. So if you were not able to come to the meeting that we had a couple weeks ago on the goose issue here in Amery, we had a person from Wildlife Services come. And if you missed that, it has been playing on the cable channel, but if you don't catch it when it's on there, it is on the city's YouTube channel, so you can watch it online if that's what you do. So there's another option for you to look at it. So if you missed it and you're really interested in what some of the options we have in dealing with the goose issue, you can watch that video. And it was a very good presentation. We had a few people here. And I'm not going to steal all of Dave's thunder here, but if you're interested, that is available for you to view there. So, and it was mentioned the Amery Home Show. The city and the community club are again having a booth. And as we did last year, we had a really nice drawing that we did that was sponsored by local Amery businesses and the community club and the city. And we gave a kind of a grill package last year. That was worth about $400, and we are going to do the same thing again. So if you come by the home show, please stop by the booth. It's usually right by the entrance. We'll have a really nice drawing, and you can spin the wheel and win a prize too. So last year, somebody who lived over near Clear Lake won. So they won a grill and some meat and some beer and some grill accessories and some charcoal, everything you need to go and have a cookout. If the snow's still here, I guess we were not going to include a shovel, but you'll have to wait for it to melt, so. But it's a very nice thing that our local Amery businesses are participating in that, and it's a good way for the city and the community club to get information out about what's going on in the community, as well as some tourism information from the Polk County Tourism, and that's all I have.
Any questions for Darcy? Okay, we'll go on to committee reports. We'll start with Parks and Recreation. Dave Myers.
Mr. Mayor, could we change the order around, because I have the Finance Committee notes in front of me, and it will take me a while to switch over to the Parks and Recreation.
Okay, we'll do finance first. Dave,
Thank
wanna
you,
do
everyone.
finance?
Finance Committee of the City of Amery met last evening at 5 o'clock. Several items on the agenda. First of all, Phil Kluge presented some questions and some comments and some opinions about the Amery Golf Course. Let me read, first of all, his opening statement so that it will clarify his position. Mr. Kluge had some prepared remarks he read and stated he was representing himself as a city taxpayer and was not on the golf course board, but is a golf course member. He is concerned as a business property owner about the future of the golf course. Okay, that's how he started out. And then he has a number of comments and questions, and talked about the loan situation that the golf course has with a debt carrying over from the expansion from 9 to 18 holes, which is sizable, and which also has a sizable interest payment each year. And the question was whether the city could assume that loan and consequently benefit from a lower rate. We answered that immediately and said no, that wasn't possible, and had been looked at and discussed earlier, but because the Amery Golf Course is leased from the city, they are a separate entity and consequently have to assume their financial responsibilities as a separate entity. He mentioned and compared a number of issues in Amery with Cumberland. He's an ex-Cumberland resident and is very familiar with the workings of the Cumberland Golf Course, and had some questions and some comments about the comparison of the two courses. I think the committee's response to Mr. Kluge was that his concerns were legitimate, and that some of the questions that he presented needed to be responded to. So we assured him that we would discuss the items that he had mentioned, and then would get back, give him a formal answer in a couple of months. He was satisfied with that and thanked the committee for that time. The second item on the agenda was a question of the City of Amery co-signing a loan for the Amery ambulance service to purchase a new ambulance. In the past, the town of Lincoln has co-signed this loan for any type of ambulance service needs, and it was just an oversight that this issue was not discussed with the town of Lincoln at their last meeting. Consequently, the ambulance delivered early, and timing is such that the town of Lincoln cannot be again, requested to co-sign this loan. So, members of the service attended our finance meeting and requested that we co-sign the loan for the ambulance, which is being delivered any day now. Some discussion was presented, but there was no question that this would be done, and so the committee will recommend to the council that they co-sign the loan for the Amery Ambulance Service. And that it then can be delivered on time. The community club presented a proposal and an informational packet to the committee that a farmer's market, an additional farmer's market day is being considered for this coming summer. And that will be held on Saturday mornings. And the community club, I feel, is putting in a lot of work to tell not only the finance committee, but to inform the community about the project and the ramifications, positive ramifications that will occur with this second event. They've asked for a monetary contribution of $2,000 to aid in this development, and the committee responded to that very positively.
Dave, can I chime in there real quick?
Yes.
They're going to do a Saturday market, and they're going to continue the Monday market until this season, this summer's over, and then determine which way to go. As Dave said, yeah, they've been trying to promote this, and they've got a new farmers market board that's going to work on both the Saturday and Monday market. And they're really trying to have the Saturday available for those folks who come here that are more weekend, seasonal, lake folks, so that they can partake in it, as well as people who can't get here on Monday because of work. So that was kind of what their thought with the Saturday market is.
Now, Mr. Long, when you interrupted me, you must have made some comment that triggered my iPad, and consequently,
Let's turn it back on.
You know it's not solar powered.
No, it's back.
Oh,
Don't panic, anyone. This is going
He
along
has it
fine.
under control.
We have, there was some discussion about a change of job descriptions, and that will be discussed later in tonight's meeting. There was interest in purchase of the city-owned downtown lot, which is back on the corner of, help me, Bones, what's the address of that lot? That's the corner of Center Street and
Riverside.
The old shop.
The old shop.
That's 118 on the, 120 on the east side of Center.
Okay, oh, beautiful. The old shop was torn down 10 years ago, and that lot has been vacant and available for purchase. There was some question about it. There was a proposal or a bid presented, and that bid was not accepted, and consequently then the bidder withdrew any further question about the lot. But it continues to be for sale, and just that at this point there are no persons interested. The committee ended its discussions at that point and closed.
Did you want to talk about the moving permit? That was one of the other topics that,
That's a public safety.
Wrong meeting.
wrong meeting?
That was the following.
Same day, wrong meeting.
They just kind of meld together.
I was looking at it.
We'll wait for Chris.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Any questions of finance? Appreciate you chairing that yesterday. It was yesterday, wasn't it? Okay.
Yes, it was.
Before we go on with the committee reports, there was one officer report that I overlooked, and that's our building inspector, Craig Moriak. Craig, do you want to come on up? The report is in your packet.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and the City Council. You do have in your packet the printout of the new building permits that were issued this last year in 2012. One thing to note is that there were no new house permits from last year, and just a couple of large commercial permits. And like the rest of the guys, I don't have a whole lot of new information either to deliver, but I will go over some of the changes that have taken place last year just to renew. The Department of Commerce has been merged into the Department of Safety and Professional Services. It's called DSPS. The Department of Commerce is no longer there. And the Division of Safety in Buildings, which is in charge of the building code, is now called the Division of Industry Services. So there's just a lot of new names to remember when you go down to Madison or to talk to guys like me, because the names are changing. And many of the staff in Madison are retiring or leaving, and there are very few of them are being replaced. So help out here in the field will be harder to get. The electrical area is the one with the most influx and possible outcomes. And this information I'm giving you now is current as of the day I prepared this, which was last week. It's still current today, but it may change tomorrow. Licensing of all electricians was set to go into effect on April 1st of 2013, although there's a bill in the state legislature that would extend that for 1 year. We've been talking about this for 5 years. It's been in the pipeline to go into effect the end of this month, and now they're going to talk about kicking her down the road again. So a master electrician would be needed to be in charge to receive a permit after that time. A homeowner could do wiring and get a permit on a dwelling that they are currently living in as a primary residence, so it can't be a cabin. But that's for additions or alterations only, because you cannot live in a new dwelling under construction, so it has to be your old house. All commercial inspections, electrical inspections, are on track to start at that same time, but that's undetermined too. It's not until this thing goes into effect. Wisconsin is using the 2008 National Electrical Code. We may adopt the 2000, they change these every 3 years, they redo them. We may adopt the 2011 NEC later this year, but a new 2014 NEC would be available in January. So if we just postpone it until next March, we could go with the newest version. But stay tuned, we'll see how this all shakes out.
Well, good thing nothing is in flux. Any questions for Craig? Thank you very much, appreciate it. Sorry I overlooked you there. Okay, we will go back to committee reports, and I'll ask Chris to talk about public safety.
The Public Safety Committee met Tuesday, March 5th, last night, 6:37 PM, right after the Finance Committee. We had a couple items under new business. The first one is regarding a house moving permit. Darcy and Sarah Long would like to move a house that is currently owned by Willow Ridge, located at 435 Fairway Lane, to the property at 923 Lincoln Street East. The Longs have hired a professional house mover that does have liability insurance for the structure. They have been consulted the Excel Energy for the route, which we have posted in the council packet, for which direction and so forth to move the house. At the time of the move, they do cross over 46 and one little section, so as needed, the police department would be there for traffic control when the date of the move is determined. And if any trees need to be moved around the route. We are making sure, however, in the case that any expenses that would be incurred, that the Longs would have to pay for. If the city crew is needed to cut tree trimming, that's a charge. The law enforcement, if they're doing other law enforcement calling, that'd be a charge. So we'll be talking about a motion on that move. The move date hasn't been set. It's going to be kind of determined on weather. And the day of the move will advise the public so they know that there'll be a temporary shutdown of the main Route 46 and also let fire and EMS and so forth know on that day. So that'll be sometime probably later spring that move will occur. So we'll be bringing that as a motion. The next item up was an unsafe building condemnation at 121 Deronda Street. What we're waiting on, the building inspector is going to be inspecting this property on this Friday, the 8th, and then we'll see what, after the report comes in on the property, what's going to go on there, and we'll review it at our next April meeting.
Update on that one. Craig and I met today, and in discussing this, we've had some, what am I going to call it, difficulties with the owner before. And so because of that, we're going to consult with the city attorney basically to make sure we follow the steps because of the, even though it's technically abandoned, when I mean technically abandoned is that if you drive by now, you will see that the house that's on the corner of Deronda, the Blue Brown House, and Keller, that the windows are falling out. It's pretty easy to get in. It's obviously abandoned, but the property owner has not paid the property taxes, has let them lapse for the last 5 years. So technically, we say it's abandoned, but we know who the owner is. The house that we tore down that was on Central, we knew who the owners were and worked with them on it. In this case, we want to make sure that we are sure it's abandoned by the owner, not corresponding. So we're just going to consult with Jim, just because we've had an issue with him with the rental code at one time, because it was a rental at one time. So it may be a delay on that inspection. We just want to make sure we legally can get in the building. So that's just an update.
Okay. So when we get that report, have that at the next meeting or the meeting in May.
Yep.
The next topic that came up was allowing waterfowl hunting within the city limits of Amery. With the update from Parks Committee on the problem with geese in our community and the presentation that was done by Chad Alberg from Wildlife Services, there were several recommendations at that meeting that were brought forth as possibilities that the city could do to try to alleviate the geese problem. So that's why we're the first committee that came up on the one brought to our attention on allowing waterfowl hunting within the city limits. We had some discussion with some concerns as to if this was allowed, where would it be safe in the city so that people aren't getting hurt, things like that. Our current ordinance does not allow discharging any type of firearms in the city limits. So we just discussed this, didn't make any motions. We're gonna wait further till some of the meetings that the Parks Department has on this. This was, again, a topic that was brought up the first time to the committee, but nothing's been moving forward one direction, just more of a discussion. So we'll hear further on that. But some of the main concerns, though, were the safety issue with having firearms being discharged in the city. Another topic, again, for discussion was allowing archery deer hunting in the city limits. Some jurisdictions, Osseo and Ola and St. Croix Falls, have done this successfully. Some areas that they said that are problem areas in the city limits, York Park, a lot of deer crossing back and forth on 46 and getting hit on Highway 46 there. John Burquest had suggested maybe an example of a supervised hunt with youth hunt. Again, we had a discussion, and nothing said. The concern again here was within the city limits with current not being able to use archery in the city, where these, who would be doing it, where would be doing it, would it be safe? If your neighbor is hunting in their backyard. So again, this was again, a topic just brought up. We haven't moved forward with this. Again, we'll look into this this gathering some information and go from this point. And maybe check more with some of the other communities that do, how they're doing it. Again, and then later on, this would be something too that would probably come forward at other committees or the public. But again, this time, it's just a discussion. This was brought up as an idea, nothing further. Then we ended about 7:30, we adjourned, and that was all that was. We have a couple things we brought forth later in the meeting.
Okay, thank you, Chris. Any questions for public safety? Dave, are you ready to do parks now?
I am.
Okay, we're going to do parks.
The Parks and Recreation Committee for the City of Amery met on February 25th at 5 o'clock. A number of variety of issues were presented. Chris alluded to a couple of them, and excuse me, please.
I think we ran out of time about.
I'm doing all right. I'm having a little problem with my thumb is blacking things out.
We didn't get very far on the deer hunting thing. It ran out of time, I think. And then the goose hunting thing was kind of in the conversation with John Berquist there. And
Okay. I'm going to keep my fingers off the screen. Last summer, several members of the VFW presented to me an idea for a Veterans Memorial and their request was that it be placed in the southwest corner of North Park. It sounded good to me at the beginning, and we continued to discuss this. We met council or committee members, and several other council members met at North Park and reviewed the proposal and the area that they were requesting. And at that point, then some questions, some issues with water control, tree line, power poles were noted, but still no real reason to not go forward with the proposal. It was pointed out that the art fair sponsored by the Women's Club and a number of fall festival activities use the entire park in addition to the variety of recreational opportunities that are there. So there is an existing memorial at the cemetery. There was some discussion held about providing some land to the VFW that they would be responsible for maintenance and insurance, and that was an issue that they did not think about initially, and really were not in agreement with that idea. So it was also explained to the representatives of the veterans group that the city could not provide any financial assistance, but might be able to help with some of the construction work. The group has not gotten back to the committee with any update on their proposal, and so at this point, the item was tabled due to lack of information from the group. A year and a half ago, we discussed joining two different, a state organization for Bird City and a second organization of Tree City. These are state or federal agencies that provide some direction for tree planting and for treating our feathered friends well, and also requires applications be submitted, and then some yearly requirements to maintain that designation. It provides
national advertising for the community if we are accepted. And so the committee feels that both are important, and our recommendation was that we continue to pursue these designations for the city of Amery. New business, a park brochure is being developed. We have some ideas, we looked at some ideas about items to be considered, and we're working with Sally Klipgard to develop one. John Berquist suggested that we put emphasis on the Apple River also, because the canoeing, the muskie fishing, variety of water activities that occur, and that it is part of our community. There was an item about an illegal dock and picnic table in York Park. This seems to be a neighborhood issue, and one that has been identified as a concern, and the committee will wait for any further action until there is a definite complaint, and then we will deal with that. We had talked last month about updating the 2000 or the 5-year park and recreation plan and identifying specifically the 2013 projects. This was tabled because of time constraints. Also, I mentioned last month about the beach party that will introduce the 2013 swimming season to the community, and that was not discussed either because of time constraints. Chris mentioned the possibility of archery deer hunting within the parks and within the city limits. This was entered into discussion, and as Chris mentioned, there will be certainly a significant investigation of the pros and cons of this possibility, and as we move forward into the warmer weather, we'll provide more information for you. Goose hunting in the city of Amery also was mentioned by the safety committee, and this was one, as she mentioned, this was one of the primary recommendations for goose management in the community. And as I just stated about archery and deer hunting, it will be investigated. There will be some definite strategies outlined, and the terms of the hunting will be outlined, the areas will be outlined, and everybody will be kept up to date about what will happen with that. But it is something that we started last fall with some success. There were some recommendations from our speaker about how to do it better, and so that certainly is going to continue as part of our goose management plan, and we'll keep you informed on that. I'll talk more about that plan in a couple of minutes. A question about the city providing vending machines in city parks. Again, that was tabled because of lack of time. The notice of tree management, forest management in York Park was discussed, and it was decided that the city use the services of the county forester to consult and advise us on this matter. There are also a couple of other properties that and right-of-way where it seems that tree harvesting should be done. So we're going to work on that, and we're going to get the help of the county forester to address that. After the college interns were here for the summer, and the variety of things that they did to address parks and recreations, present facilities, and proposals for the future. The issues in York Park were discussed. There was a question about whether there were any restrictions that have been placed on the use of York Park. There was a feeling that there was, but the two interns were charged with investigating that, looking to see if they could find any restrictions that were in writing, and they could find none. So the question came up again, and we are going to reopen that I don't know what the word is. Examination of the York Park uses and restrictions, and we're going to call on some old natives of the community, Dan Leon and Rick Van Blarkum, to provide more insight for us. Dan will be pleased that I use that term, and I'm sure that he will give us an honest answer. Then, folks, hang with me. My iPad is working perfectly. You're getting this marvelous report because
It's smoking, Dave. It's smoking.
that's my hand.
Oh,
It's shaking.
sorry.
I mentioned and Darcy mentioned, and Chris mentioned the young man who came to the community on Thursday, February 21st, to provide some information on goose management. Chad Albert with the United States Department of Agriculture Wildlife Services provided an excellent presentation. It was taped, and as Darcy mentioned, it has been running on the local channel. I don't know quite what the schedule has been or what the schedule will be, but if you have not seen it yet and are interested in goose management, then you should certainly watch this, because he does a much better job than I could ever do in presenting the issues, the strategies for managing it, and what the ramifications of this variety of strategies is. So even though you've hopefully have had the opportunity to witness the TV presentation, his emphasis was on, yes, they can be managed, and yes, these strategies have been tried and are effective. And what he mentioned, first of all, was the oiling the eggs in the spring. The philosophy there is that if you destruct the eggs, the mother goose will recognize that and lay more eggs. If you just coat them with corn oil, she will be fooled and continue to nest on the eggs, and they will not hatch, and she will not have time then to lay more eggs. So that would be the first strategy that would occur in the late spring, early summer. The question about where the nests are is interesting and will require the volunteering and collaboration of residents on the water in the community to identify them, and maybe even help with the coating of the eggs, because it's not very difficult, and certainly would be a good start for the project. He then talked about rounding up the young goslings, and the adults who I have learned cannot fly for a 2 or 3 week period in this period in June and July. They go through a molt, and the young, the newly hatched goslings are just growing at a rapid pace but still cannot fly. The strategy is to round them up and capture them with netting and then dispose of them in several different ways. It's costly, and even more costly if they are disposed of through the process of killing them and attempting to use the meat that's available from these carcasses for public consumption. They need to be tested for chemical contents. They need to be handled by a special processing group, and there are just a couple within the state. And so there's a transportation of these birds to the processing plant. And, but it is effective, and consequently then the city will be in a position at some point to decide whether after we find out exactly what the costs of this strategy is, to decide whether it is reasonable to spend this amount of money for managing our goose population. There are several different, or we're anticipating that we'll come up with several different financial plans for this, and so there'll be more information coming in the next couple of months also with that process. We started the hunt last year within the city. We were successful, I think, on a small basis. That is recommended with some adjustments to our initial plan, and so we're going to continue that. And again, there'll be more information about who will be able to participate in that hunt, and again, where the safe and proper areas are for shooting.
Dave, I think there was 31 birds that got removed from the city.
Last year.
Through that process, yep.
Okay. And so that was a good start, and
But that's not,
so
that's
the
kind of a
first time
minor
around,
dent.
but it is.
Yeah, when you have 500 on South Twin, 31 doesn't seem like very many.
We may need to recruit some marksmen. There will be more information presented at each of the council meetings in the future, discussing the processes and the progress that the Goose Management Committee is making, and that the Safety Committee will review and help with the planning. So it is, well, one thing I didn't mention, he said very initially and very dramatically, don't feed the geese. So that gives you a place to start right now as they are becoming tamer and there's more snow and they need some food, that when they come marching up into your yard, don't feed them. They are pretty and they are fun to watch, and whether they're walking or whether they're swimming in the river or whether they're flying overhead, they are, a marvelous addition to the community, but we have too many and we just need to reduce that number, and that's our goal. And I should point out to you the magnificent machine that I have in front of me has allowed me to give this report with very minimal interruptions.
And no paper.
And no paper, and it needs to be credited.
Any questions of Dave?
No, but we're all very proud of him for using his machine.
And for all the work that the Goose Committee and the Parks Committee is doing. You got a lot of topics that you are investigating, so thank you very much for your work there. We do not have a Library Committee report.
Because they meet next Monday, right?
No, it met, it's just that they're reviewing the
Oh,
policies and procedures, so that's not very noteworthy.
And you have in your packet the minutes of the Airport Commission meeting that was held on February 28th, if anyone had any questions.
There's only one thing then that comes up under new business to authorize, or the 3 leases that, one new one and 2 renewal ones. I was asked to approve those.
Okay. I think that's it for committee reports. We will go to new business. And under the current agenda, the most revised agenda, the first thing on there is Resolution 20-2013 regarding the financing of the radio read meter project, which the city council approved at the February meeting, and you have a copy of the resolution in your packet. Darcy, anything you want to say before we take a motion?
yes, Resolution 2-2013 is for the radio read meter project. This is with, at Bremer Bank. This is for $390,000. Not all of it we will use. Some of it we will not be using, but we want to have a cushion there. As at our meeting we had, there was a few things that came up that we need to have some funds available when they're installing the meters that may arise. Where some action by the installers may need to be taken with the installation of the meter. So we need a cushion there to have some dollars for any of those kind of things that may arise during the installation that we may be responsible for. And the interest rate was at 2.75%, and this was going to be a 10-year loan. That was our objective, is to pay this out at 10 years, over 10 years. And there is, this was being paid for by a variety of things. Some of it is, the entire loan is not going to be $390,000. We're expecting that it's going to be more around $283,000. We don't have to take all the money that's in the loan. We can leave some of it there, and they'll process it forward at the lower amount. The objective of this project, when we worked with Public Works on this, was to do this project and so that the project would not have to raise the rates to pay for it. So we think they're working with the Public Works Director and the City Clerk, we've been able to look at what the budget is for the water and sewer funds to pay for this project within its own current budget that we have on the books.
So I need a motion to approve Resolution 2-2013.
So moved.
Jack, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any questions? All in favor of the resolution, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Resolution passes. The next item is housing moving permit. And I'm going to ask Darcy to go up to the podium since it is directly
Yeah,
impacting
let me see
him.
the pictures there. If you pass those down here. Yeah, I can go up there. I'll take my tablet.
This was an issue that we talked about at Public Safety.
Yes. The city of Amery has a process, and I'm going to get to that permit here, for requesting to move a house. You have to get a permit from the city of Amery, and as part of the process, the permit, there isn't an application process. So basically what I did is I provided a letter to the the Public Safety Committee and the City Council regarding this move. And this is a house that, if it wasn't moved, it would be tore down and destroyed. So this house was built in '93, is over on Fairway, 435 Fairway Lane. You can't see it with the pictures, but it's currently owned by Willow Ridge. They need it moved because at some point they're going to do a project. A little bit about the route. It would be moving down, it's on the corner of Fairway and Gulfview Lane. It'll go down Gulfview Lane, down Deronda, all the way down Harriman until you get to Baker, and then it'll turn at Baker and go probably not even a block to Central, and then go down Central to Howard, and then the lot that I own is over on Lincoln Street East. Actually, if you want to know where it's at, it's Mike Hafley will be my new neighbor over there, and it's kind of an exciting project. People have asked about if I ever found a house. I say yes, and they say, "Oh, were you buying one?" I said, "We're moving one." So it kind of is a different way to get your home, but it's also a way to save this house from being destroyed. It's a very nice house. It does have some difficulties. It is not on a basement, so it's on a slab. So it costs a little bit more to move, but the Lighthouse Movers in Balsam Lake has experience in moving buildings without a basement and is skilled in doing that. As part of the process, I get to do two duties. I'm requesting as a citizen as well as following the process that is set in our building code for getting a permit for me to do this project. And as Chris had stated, there are some costs that may be related where the Public Works may have to trim some trees. Those are costs that are borne by the individual who moves the house in Amery. There's only been a couple houses, I think, that have moved in Amery that stayed here. Most of them that have moved in the past, I think, have headed out of town. So it's nice to see that I'm able to save a house and keep it within the city limits. So, any questions from the city council? Or?
Any questions?
I passed out some photos of
Darcy?
it.
In the minutes, in the packet, you have the letter that Darcy submitted to Public Safety along with a copy of the map showing the route that the house would be moved. The Public Safety Committee is making a recommendation to City Council to approve the house moving permit for the Longs, with the Longs paying for all associated costs incurred by the city to move the house from where it's located now on Fairview Lane to East Lincoln. So I would entertain a motion to that effect.
I'll make the motion that we approve the house moving permit for Darcy's house.
And Rick Davis, is there a second?
Second.
Dave Myers, any questions, comments? All in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed? The permit is granted.
And the date has not been set when it'll move. It's contingent on weather and as the big case, because it is a pretty big house. And that part of Amery is fairly sandy. So there's a need for either the frost to be completely gone and the ground settled, as well as the snow to be completely gone. Right now, there's about 3.5 feet of snow in front of the lot, so it's it may be more like May that it'll move, but the public will be notified, because I think when I've done a little research on houses that have moved in Amery, it was kind of a spectacle where people watched. Because it's not often that you move a house around, so, and this will be kind of interesting because it doesn't have a basement, so it'll be kind of interesting for me how they're going to pick it up, but they have assured me that they've done this before and that they are licensed and everything, so.
So let's just
Thank
hope
you.
there isn't any oops.
No, when I was talking to Bones about some things with the route, he mentioned that there was a house that moved over, I think on H, and it fell in the creek, and that didn't make me excited. Because in the route, there's the Apple River. I would hate to see it floating towards the dam, but,
Mr.
Well,
Mayor,
good luck.
Can I interject here? Two things that I've neglected in my long presentation. First of all, that I am very fortunate to have John Berquist, a native of the city of Amery, who left the community to follow his vocational dreams, and now has returned as a retiree. He worked for the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources in the area of goose management. And so he has been just so very helpful and will continue to be our leader as we progress. And secondly, that all of the activities that I mentioned about the Goose Project require applications and permits. So those, we're recommending that to the city that they make those applications, and I know that that has already started. So that also is involved with the timing issues of the project.
Yeah, we're going to be working on applying through the Wildlife Services to do the oiling of the eggs. They come and help with that process and identifying, training staff that'll be involved in that, as well as if there are people who are interested in that, we need to know so that we can identify those folks who want to be part of this project. You need to be part of the permit. And so we have to identify you, even though you may not be the person that's supervising the oiling. City staff and probably somebody from Wildlife Services would be involved with it. You still need to be named on it because there's some reporting. We have to tell them how many nests we find. It's not just going out and looking for nests and spraying vegetable oil on them. It's really a process. And as they said in the presentation, you may not find many the first year because it takes a while. You have to learn where they're at. And so if you know where they are, we would appreciate an email or stop by City Hall or a phone call, kind of letting us know of a general vicinity, and we will start to get those points on a map so that we can target those areas when we go out. Because it'll probably take a couple trips to do it, because you ever looked at a map of Amery, and there's one right there, and there's one in the back, there's a lot of water, so there's a lot of places for waterfowl to nest, geese in Amery.
And we'll continue to utilize local media to provide additional information for you, keep you updated, rather than just the once-a-month council meetings.
But if you are interested in helping with the oiling of the eggs, please contact City Hall with your name and contact information so that we can keep you informed. And as we go through the training piece of it, that we can make sure that you are invited to attend.
And it'd be nice for the newspaper maybe to volunteer a little bit, and you can write from a personal point of view versus an observing point of view.
Public interest
Yes.
article that could make.
Yeah.
Whoa.
There you go, Tom.
No pressure there.
No pressure there.
But,
Okay.
and also, if you are interested in serving on the committee, to call City Hall, and we'll be happy
Yes.
to include you. I'm not hearing more about it.
Okay, item number 3 is the support for the Amery Saturday Farmers Market. That was mentioned under Dave's report from Finance, and there's a request in your packet. I would entertain a motion to authorize $2,000 to support the Saturday Farmers Market. Is there a motion to that effect?
I so move.
Dave, is there a second?
Second.
Chris, any discussion?
Which fund is that 2,000 coming out of?
That will come out of 3 different places. It'll come out of tourism promotion, which is usually funded from the hotel tax. It will come out of some of the park fund, and then the remainder will come out of our, what we call the celebrations fund, which is another promotional fund that we use for items related to Fall Festival. The fireworks get paid for out of that. I reassured the Finance Committee prior to bringing this to them that there was budgeted dollars to do this.
Okay.
And I talked to Sally Klevgard, who is the Community Club president, prior to her making the request about this.
And as I understand, the Community Club is going to be funding some of it as well, and there's a couple of
AEDC.
other sources.
Yeah, AEDC is going to put $2,000 into it, as well as, I don't know how much the Community Club is, I just know from being an AEDC board member that they're going to put a couple grand into this project as well.
Are they going to be competing with our local
bars selling alcohol on that Saturday?
They have already
Out of
started a
curiosity?
process to work with the local taverns to run them. So they're gonna, under the picnic license permit, they would probably be the community club would be the applicant for the, or the farmers market would be the applicant for the license on either Monday or Saturday, and they are gonna work with the local taverns to do that. And those that are interested are welcome to be a part of it. They don't wanna be in the beer selling business this year. They wanna let one of the local establishments do it, which is a better scenario in my opinion.
Yeah. Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, we have a motion to approve the $2,000. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. Airport leases, those are also in your packet.
Yes, it's a 10-year lease extension for Dan Lindy and Gerald Kotke, and a new lease for Gary Nagy of New Richmond.
And those are being recommended by the Airport Commission?
Yes.
Okay, so is there a motion to approve those leases? Is there a motion?
I would move that those leases be, I've been talking so much, my horse.
We need to go get some coffee.
I so move.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Jack.
Jack.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The leases are approved.
Thank you.
We also have operator licenses, and that information is also contained in your packets. Fran, do you want to talk about those?
Sure, we have 2 applications for operators licenses this month. Both of those have been reviewed by the chief of police and myself and are recommended to be granted.
Okay. So is there a motion to approve the operator licenses?
So move.
Kay, is there a second?
Second.
David, any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The licenses are approved. Job descriptions.
We have 2 job descriptions that we are updating. Back in December of 2012, the city's labor attorney, Tom Revenue, reviewed those, and we found a couple places where we need to make some changes in a couple job descriptions. One of them is our wastewater superintendent. Because of the way his job is situated, he doesn't really qualify to be an exempt employee or salaried employee, as it may be. And so he's going back to hourly, which he was previously, and he's aware of that and is currently being paid as an hourly employee, and that's one change there. And the other change is a change in Chief Marson's job description, which is moving one supervisory position to the number 1 duty versus where it's at now. And they're just some minor changes, but they are something that we've approved before, so we can bring them back to council. And finance has reviewed these a couple times.
So is there a motion to approve the revised job descriptions?
I move that we approve the 2 positions as presented.
Okay, motion by Rick, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dave, any questions? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That passes as well. The last thing we have on the agenda under new business is the ambulance purchase assistance. And Dave talked about that under finance as well. I don't know if you want to kind of recap that, Dave?
Just that the city of Amery will agree to be the co-signer for that loan. And
Reluctantly, right?
it was discussed, and the timing of the issue was discussed, and some, not negative comments, but some concerns about the timing were mentioned. But at the end, we agreed that we could do that, and we recommend that the council accept that.
there was some wording that was in there, and I'm trying to pull that.
Yeah, I was looking for that myself.
Yep, there's some specific wording that we wanted to use for that motion.
And if I recall correctly, the new ambulance is gonna cost something in the area of $140,000.
That's correct.
And the ambulance is making a significant payment on that. So the outstanding loan is gonna be set, is it 75,000?
75, yep.
75.
The motion, as it was presented, put in some stipulations there that further clarified the issue and the responsibility of the city versus the responsibility of the ambulance.
You made the motion.
group.
Yep. Yeah, basically what we had put in with the motion that we would co-sign the loan, but in the event if for some reason they defaulted on making the loan payments, then the city who pays a portion of the ambulance service would use that portion we normally pay the ambulance service to pay off the loan. We don't expect that happening, but that was something that we just wanted to be put into the motion just to.
Yeah, what that means is we will not contribute to the, to our percentage of that
If they default.
ambulance
on the-
service
If they
during
default.
any period of default until we recover the entire cost of that loan.
Right.
And they're borrowing it for 5 years, so it's like if a person, well, they would get a $75,000 car, but it's kind of like borrowing for a vehicle.
But as David mentioned, it was the timing that when the meeting for Lincoln's and the fact that the ambulance came in earlier than expected was to avoid other cost charging by waiting to try to get the ambulance later. It would cost them more money for the place to hold it. So that's kind of why the timing issue was not very good.
So then I would ask for a motion to approve the city co-signing for the Amery Ambulance Service purchase of a new ambulance.
I so moved. Didn't you do that?
I thought, good.
I don't,
Can I ask another question? Since we are the co-signers, I anticipate that we'll also be the co-owners of that ambulance till it's paid off, and I would expect that would be on the document. Would you agree with that, Darcy?
I would say yes,
Okay.
we're a guarantor of the loan,
Yeah,
technically.
okay.
And it does, the question was asked also, it does go against our debt limit, but $75,000 out of, what do we have, what is our debt limit, 6 million? Is not much.
should not impact
Yeah, it's not
us.
gonna impact us for doing projects.
It's okay. I still want to be the co-owner until that thing is paid off.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Okay, any other questions, clarifications? All,
So what is a motion actually? What?
the motion is to go ahead and be the co-signers on the loan with the ambulance service with the understanding that the city would be listed as a co-owner of the ambulance.
And do we need to include if they would default, that would?
Yep.
Yep.
Was the other motion, yep.
Okay.
Do you have that, Fran?
Would you read
Sure.
it back after you write it?
Sounds like the motion is made by Myers and seconded by Erickson that the city will proceed with co-signing the ambulance purchase loan for the Amery EMS service with the understanding that the city will be listed as a co-owner of the ambulance until it's paid in full, and the contingency that if the ambulance service should somehow default on the loan, that the city will withhold their regular ambulance annual support payment.
Everyone understand the motion?
I do.
Any other questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion is passed. That is all the new business. Is there a motion to adjourn?
Move to adjourn.
We are adjourned.